We have now reached the last award of the day, and it is my pleasure to bestow this honor on such an eminent executive. Please turn your attention to the screens.
The Association Trends Executive of the Year Award is a highly coveted honor that I know association executives would love to aspire to achieve.
Being recognized by your peers, being recognized as a leader, as a professional, in a recognized profession, is an extraordinary accomplishment.
I think it's important to recognize excellent leadership because that's how we find our role models, right? And that's how both your peers and the next generation look and say that's what excellence looks like.
I've known and worked with Dawn for 20 years. On a personal level, I've never met anyone more caring, sincere, or thoughtful. And on a professional level, she brings that same empathy to her job.
I think Dawn Sweeney is a great leader because she really comes at this with a passion. She has a passion for people. She has a phenomenal passion that's grown for our industry, and she just loves what she does.
When you take a step back and you watch Dawn in action, there is nothing like it. Dawn is one of those people that brings great smarts, incredible focus, and real business savvy to all that she does.
For me, the one thing that I think is most important about Dawn is because I am a nonprofit CEO, she has set a standard that any other association leader can follow, and that's why I'm most proud of her.
When I think of Dawn, there's not just one word that comes to mind. I think in terms of alphabetically, she's authentic, she's bright, curious, she's devoted, she's emotionally intelligent, financially astute, she's a go-getter, and she has very high integrity.
She inspires the directors of the National Restaurant Association. She inspires her friends, she inspires me, and she inspires her team.
She's made it a true priority to connect market leaders like myself with markets out on the West Coast. We truly appreciate that because it is wisdom and value that we would not be able to gain otherwise.
She is truly a person who can convene people, bring people together in the face of differing opinions, and that really is what leadership is all about.
When I look at a number of the new programs and initiatives that she has put in place, she is not afraid to throw away the old playbook and try something new.
The best mark, I think, of a person, when you're talking about a person, is if she has made your life better. That's about as good, I think, as you could say about anyone. And I think Dawn has made my life better. I've learned a lot from her, and a lot of people feel the same way.
I just hold her in such high regard. I think she really deserves this kind of recognition and honor for the work she's done. I'm so happy for her and so pleased to be able to call her not just a colleague, but also a really good friend.
So one of the very first times I met Dawn, she told me that every single day, at the same time of day, no matter where she is, she would stop and she would pick up the phone and talk to her son. And I adopted that myself. That has been so incredibly valuable for me.
I really admire Dawn's smarts and her skills. I appreciate her advice and counsel, particularly in our small leadership retreats. But mostly, I'm really proud to call her my friend.
If you've ever had the good fortune to work with Dawn, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You relish that experience, and it really transforms you into be not only a better person, but a better leader.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Association Executive of the Year, Dawn Sweeney.
Thank Thank you all so very much. Good afternoon. I'd like to begin by adding my congratulations to Loretta DeLuca, 2017 Association Partner of the Year winner, and all of the other award winners here today for their well-deserved honors. Just an amazing group of inspiring people, and it's so encouraging to witness each of your achievements and to be here today to celebrate with you for all that you do at the Association Trends Salute to Excellence Luncheon. As was so eloquently said by several on the video, the Association Trends recognition is something that's widely known and highly celebrated by all of us in the association community, and to be included in the company of any one of the prior award winners, let alone all of them, is truly and deeply one of the great highlights of my professional career. Couple that then with the opportunity to provide some remarks, and not just the kind of speech that we all reflexively give on behalf of our industries and our issues, but remarks that are personal, reflective, and I hope somewhat instructive and a bit inspirational. And to do that with an audience of people that you both respect and admire. Those are the makings of a milestone moment, as I like to call it. And in a milestone moment, the world just kind of stops still for one brief period. And so as I prepared my remarks for this afternoon, I decided to share a couple of stories. Stories of life experiences that have propelled my career and my life so far. And perhaps even more importantly, experiences that have allowed me to grow beyond the setbacks, some of the mistakes, and some of the failures that also dot the landscape of my life. So I was raised on a farm in a fairly rural part of Maine, and from the time I was very small, I worked really hard. Not as hard as Loretta's parents, I realize, definitely not. But I did work hard in my small town. I worked very hard in school, first and foremost, and I worked hard on our family farm. Alongside my grandfather, my brother and my parents and I built fences and milked cows, we baled hay, and we grew and we picked acres and acres of beans and strawberries, corn, potatoes that we sold from our family roadside stand. And where we lived was away from the city, and the city had a population of about 14,000. But when I left my small part of town to go cross town to junior high school, I was very much out of my element and very uncertain of myself and where I stood. Until, as a junior high school student, I joined the intramural basketball team. I was definitely not a star athlete, but I was a team player, and I was so grateful to be part of something that was so magical and almost spiritual. Working together with a shared goal that was bigger than ourselves, that was the beginning of a new sense of purpose for me. And our day in and day out devotion to excellence, as we called it, was more like continuous improvement in our case, was motivating and was life-changing, as team sports often can be. And as those of us in the room know, any kind of experience like that is good training to be part of the association community. One day, however, when we had a game against our biggest rival, the local team, and the stakes were high, the score was very close. As a 7th grader, I witnessed one of our junior high teammates, one of our own teammates, intentionally trip another player on our own team so that she could grab the ball and make the basket. And I was just beside myself with disbelief. How could someone do this? Tripping another player was obviously out of bounds, but tripping your own teammate? Just unconscionable and highly unethical. So we won the game that night, but it did not feel like a win to me. In fact, it was this singular experience that dramatically shaped my lifelong definition of what winning really means. And to this day, the quality, the behavior that I value and regard most highly in my work team, within my family and with my friends is the ability to work as a team, with less regard for the player's name on the back of the jersey and a deeper devotion to the team name that's on the front. We all know there are many routes to success, but none of them, in my opinion, go through the path of deceit and deception. And today, more than ever, we need to lift each other up, clear the way, remove the obstacles, and unite in mission and in deed. And associations provide the natural platform for team players, and associations reward those who are courageous enough to play for the long run and for the highest and the best outcomes. And the reward will come not in the play-by-play wins, but in the aggregate impact that we can have over many months and many years. So when I went to college, I was one of only 3 people in my freshman class who were actually born in-state. Colby College, which was my alma mater, was located, or is located, in Waterville, Maine. And even at that time, it attracted students, though, from all across New England and beyond. And at that time, in the late 70s and early 80s, I found out that there was, shall I say, just a bit of disregard, if not actually a tinge of discrimination against those of us who grew up in Maine. I want to be clear that I know that my experience is absolutely pale in comparison to those who have faced true discrimination. But I had a series of experiences as a young college student that made me very attuned to the importance of mutual respect, the power of being our authentic selves, and the strengths that come with building cultures of inclusion. While diversity is a given, inclusion is a choice. And perhaps because of my early life experiences, it's a choice that I make consciously every day of my life. One of the reasons that I think I found my way to the restaurant industry is that I have always prioritized diversity and inclusion in all of the choices in my life. And there is no other industry in America as diverse and as inclusive as the restaurant industry. A third of restaurant businesses today are majority owned by women, and another 15% are equally owned by men and women. 40% of restaurants nationwide are minority owned, compared with 29% of businesses in other sectors. And 40% of restaurant businesses are majority owned by minority business owners. 56% of first-line supervisors and managers in food preparation and food service are women. 15% are Black or African American, and 21% are Hispanic. And the number of Hispanic-owned restaurant businesses soared 50% just in the last decade, while Black and African American-owned restaurants jumped 49%. It has been my life's passion to be part of a team that is diverse and inclusive, and I am so grateful to the executive team of the National Restaurant Association and to the board, because both of those entities today reflect the full diversity of our industry. And it is that collective genius of differing points of view, different life experiences, different values and priorities that lead us to our best and our highest outcomes. And I am deeply pleased to be part of an industry that truly values and promotes diversity and inclusion as a core business and social value each and every day. I'd also like to just speak briefly for a moment about the importance of aligning our personal values with the industry or profession that we represent. As I've already mentioned, the values that were instilled in me as a child of being dependable and reliable, functioning as a member of a team, remaining flexible when problems arise, and operating from a sense of purpose and service. These are the life lessons that have helped make me the person and the leader, the mother, and the wife that I am today. And I think I was drawn to the National Restaurant Association because of an instinctive belief that restaurant work taught those same lessons to millions of other Americans. I really do believe that everything you need to learn for life success, you can learn working in a restaurant. And we actually now have the data to prove that. Recently, the Educational Foundation of the National Restaurant Association commissioned a study of successful professionals across multiple industries who listed the key attributes necessary for success in the workplace. Simultaneously, we surveyed another group of just restaurant employees about the key attributes and lessons that they've learned while working in a restaurant. And the correlation was absolutely amazing. We now know for sure that restaurants teach the critical skills for life success, whether success in a restaurant or success elsewhere, from teamwork to dependability, from adaptability to initiative, from ability to learn to problem solve and conflict resolution, and so much more. We also know that restaurants are a profession, one with an amazing variety of career paths to be followed, especially for those who are willing to take risks and dream big. Perhaps nowhere else can an individual rise to leadership and even ownership faster than they can in America's restaurant industry. And from a farm girl in Maine who rose to become the CEO of that association, that reality is a powerful one and a big part of how the world of restaurants has become my home. Many of you here today are in the early stages of your association careers, and you may yourselves one day be on a stage like this with an opportunity to share your life lessons. Pay attention to the experiences that shape you. Take note of those moments of inspiration, regret, breakthrough, and heartbreak. All are important, and each are meaningful. One of our restaurant industry icons, Ted Fowler, former chair and CEO of Golden Corral, once said that when you see a turtle on the top of a fence post, you know he didn't get there by himself. And today, I am that turtle on that fence post. And I'd like to take a moment to recognize a few in the audience today who have played a significant role in the evolution of my career. First and foremost, I'd like to recognize my husband of 23 years, Tim Sweeney. All the association folks in the room are totally going to get this. Tim is by training a psychotherapist, specializing in family and marriage counseling, incredibly helpful. And having access to those professional skills have been incredibly meaningful to me over many years. But much more importantly, his day in and day out kindness, caring, and support are what I am most thankful for. Our son Kevin is a high school senior preparing for college in the fall, and he is my heart. He is the sun around which all my planets align and our hope and inspiration for the future. Kevin, Dad, and I learn from you every single day, and we are so proud of the man that you're becoming. I have three very special National Restaurant Association board members here today. First, Roz Mallett, the 2012 chair of our board. Roz? Roz has been a touchstone for me from the time that she served on the search committee that selected me for this role in 2007 until this hour of this very day. We are all blessed, I know we are, all blessed with inspiring and inspired board members. And then once in a great while, we also develop a lifelong friendship. Roz, I am truly grateful for you and for our friendship. Hattie Hill, also a board member of the National Restaurant Association and president of the Women's Food Service Forum. Hattie has taught me what true devotion and unconditional commitment mean. And I am inspired, Hattie, by your leadership every single day. And Chris Reiki, who since 1989 has owned and operated eReiki right here in DuPont Circle. Chris? One of the finest, one of my favorite, and may I say one of the most romantic restaurants, I think, in Washington, eReiki, just to do a tremendous job, chef, owner, experiencing and expressing all the dimensions of the great things that this restaurant industry stands for. You're an inspiration. Thank you, Chris. For the past 2 decades, first when I was at AARP and now at the National Restaurant Association, I've had the opportunity to partner with a fellow named Peter Gelfond, principal at the Gelfond Group, to measure and track and maniacally, whether I want to or not, focus on employee engagement, and I do want to. Peter has taught me that making our association strong begins and ends with a devoted, committed, and fully engaged team. Respect, resources, and resilience are all part of this complex puzzle. And Peter, you, more than any single professional that I know, have challenged me to be better and to do better. Peter Gelfond. Self-awareness, as I've learned, and self-reflection are the hallmarks of all good leaders. And each of those individuals that I've mentioned here just now have been North Stars for me in this lifelong pursuit. Now, I want to recognize the team from the National Restaurant Association. Could each of you who currently or have ever worked at the National Restaurant Association in this room, please stand. More than any others, you are the ones who have put this turtle on this fence post. Every single day, I am inspired to be better, to work harder, and to never, ever give up because of your devotion to our industry and all that we stand for. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And to the many other friends and colleagues who are here today, without whom this journey would not have been nearly as worthwhile, I am grateful and deeply thankful. My mantra has been simple: work hard and be kind. And that has been my life's path. Yours will be different. Trust that things happen for a reason always. That the challenges that you confront will make you stronger. And that the purpose of life, as I found, is to grow, to change, to evolve, to get better, however you define better for yourself. We are all blessed in so many ways, and no way more so than being a part of this caring, committed, and devoted association community. I thank you for this recognition today, and thank you for all that you do for your industries, for your professions, and for our country. Thank you all so very much.